What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here. Greetings and salutations to you all, and I hope you all I hope all your moms had a great Mother's Day, and at least enjoyed the day, whatever you guys did. But I know, I'm not even gonna get into how late these are, and I know these are, and I've already told you guys they're random, so I'm not gonna get into it again. But this is another mini Q&A, and you guys have questions for me, and I didn't forget you all. I don't have Twitter questions this time. They're all via YouTube, so let's get started with them. My first set of questions comes from Dave Lester. What did you think of the Hardy Boys with Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys matches? What I think of their matches back in the day, they were awesome. They literally set the bar on what a TLC match was supposed to be like. Sure, we've had ladder matches with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, and I think, but the one that was actually cemented, of course, was Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. But by far, I mean, the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and Edge and Christian, they set the bar on what TLC matches were. And we don't really see something like that anymore, probably because liability wise, but it was awesome. And I don't think it's going to ever reach that point again, but I kind of don't want it to, because those were legendary moments. Seriously, legendary moments with a great tag team division at that time. The tag team division is starting to grow and become a little bit more as it's what it is now. But back then, it was just all about tag teams. But honestly, it was great. It was really great. I love watching them, and man, it has some really gut cringing moments. But it was still awesome to see. Do you ever download demos from Xbox Live? If so, what demos have you downloaded? Demos, no. Games, yeah. I have a lot of games on Xbox Live now. I have a huge library on my 360. I have pretty much the entire, well, not on Xbox Live, but I do have most of Gears of War on Xbox Live, and as well as DuckTales and many others that I've downloaded on Xbox Live. But not demos. They're usually games. I don't really bother getting demos because I usually watch other people play them, and I always get excited after watching them play. So that kind of inspires me to buy the game. So I don't really have any demos. Well, except for one jet racing game that I want to buy, but then I'm like, meh. I don't know. I might buy it because I don't really have a lot of racing games except for Burnout Paradise, and that's okay in itself. But anyway, moving on to your next question. What did you think of Eric Bischoff as general manager of Raw back in the day? He was great. Eric Bischoff really did bring a lot of controversy as well as a lot of entertainment when he was a GM. He really did set the bar high for what a heel GM should be. Not to mention, he was the one that actually came up with the idea of the Elimination Chamber. I kind of miss Eric Bischoff because he kind of made the GM worth something. As now, having a general manager of anything these days is considered to be a joke, but he definitely was not a joke. And I loved him as a GM, especially the fact he gave Stephanie a run for her money. So I enjoyed that. I really did. What are your worst memories from wrestling in 05? Year wise, I really can't remember 05 exactly. There were so many wrestling moments that sometimes they all get fused into one. I don't know when the McMahon Helmsley era happened, but I will say that was one of my worst memories by far, was the McMahon Helmsley era. That was the era. I don't know if it was in 05. So correct me if I'm wrong. If it wasn't in 05, then my bad. But I will say that was one of my worst wrestling memories, was that entire era. I could not stand that. That, and also Vicky Guerrero and Edge. They're the Guerrero era. Couldn't stand that either. If Vicky Guerrero was to the point where she was like completely annoying to be on the screen. I don't know if that was in 05, but those two are my worst moments. Sorry if I couldn't be precise about the year, but those are my worst moments by far. Thoughts on the Baltimore riots? Well, look, unfortunately, racism is at its all-time high in many, many years, and it really makes me sad that it ended up being that way. I'm not all for violence. especially when it comes to that. I mean, these people probably, I don't know the entire situation of what happened, nor can I put my own 2 cents in it because I don't know much about it. And like I said many times before, I don't watch the news anymore. There's no point in watching the news because all it is going to be the same old stuff. But besides all that, it is messed up what happened in Baltimore. It's messed up what really went down. From what I heard, it was a lot of stuff, but it's just messed up. It's difficult for me to have my 2 cents because I don't know the backstory, let alone do I want to find out what it is. All I know, it ended in tragedy, and nobody really won in the situation. So yeah, that whole situation blew. Moving on to Final Limits. Have you ever watched New Japan Pro Wrestling? No, I haven't. I really haven't, but I heard it was really good. Like there's a lot of great performers that are in New Japan, but I haven't really watched it. I should, but I haven't. What if WWE had Eva Marie versus Rosa Mendes for 20 minutes? That would never happen because, number one, there's never been a female Iron Man match, ever. There's never been a Divas Iron Man or a Divas Iron Woman match because they're just not, they haven't been matches that last that long. They haven't been trained to be in a match for that long. So I doubt it'll happen. It'll probably end after 5 minutes or maybe after 10. But I doubt 20. I really do. I don't think anybody can last 20. Except for Brock. Brock could probably last a little bit longer than that. But that's just for a guy. For a woman, maybe Chyna. Maybe if she was still there, Beth Phoenix. Or probably Natalya. But not the others. Not even Nikki. And I love Nikki. But I don't think Nikki will be able to handle that much. Thoughts on Ambrose possibly turning heel? Possibly turning heel? Dean Ambrose is a heel. I'm sorry. He's not a psychotic heel, but he's a crazy heel. Like, Dean Ambrose has always been a heel, but now he's kind of more of an anti-hero than a heel. And people like he's a tweener. No, he's not a tweener. He's an anti-hero. He stayed that same way when he came in with the Shield. He stayed that same way when he left the Shield. So Dean Ambrose is an anti-hero. And having him be considered turning heel is the same thing that they did with Steve Austin, and that did not work. So I hope they take a page from the past, because if they turn Ambrose heel, it's just going to be as stupid as they turned Austin heel. So I'm hoping that's not the case. If you can get rid of one title in WWE, which one would you get rid of? Ooh. They got rid of majority of the belts that I think they should have left. Like the European title was stupid, and I'm kind of happy they got rid of that. The IC belt still has a lot of prestige, but I will say this. The one belt that I really feel that they should get rid of now is the US title. I hate to say it, but yeah, they should get rid of the US title, because the US title now is considered to be a starter belt. But I will admit this, and I'm probably going to do, I'm going to do a discussion video on this about John Cena's open challenges. But right as of now, yeah, the US title should be the one to be eliminated if that was an option. That would be my final option. The IC belt has more prestige than the US title. So the US title, in my opinion, should be the one to go. But I do have an opinion about that. But like I said, that'll be a whole nother video, a whole nother time. But let's move on from there to Shoro Roro Hayoyor. I hope I said that right. Would you date a blackbazillion guy? I don't know. It all depends on if we have good chemistry, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'm the type of person that don't really necessarily see color. I'm more of the mind than the actual looks of the individual. Don't get me wrong. Looks is a perk. It's a huge perk to date an attractive individual. But it's not so much what I go for. I'm all about what you think, what's in your head, how you are. You know, you as a person. So whether you're black and Brazilian don't matter to me. It just doesn't. But I don't know. Just it's all about your personality, I guess. Do you think VODO from Soul Calibur games is creepy? Yes. VODO is probably one of the creepiest characters on Soul Calibur, but the most versatile. Like, you can pretty much pull out any combo out of your butt with VODO if you knew how to play with them well. But I'm not really, it's been a long time since I played Soul Calibur, so if I played now, I would suck at it. But at one time, VODO was probably maybe the third character I would go to, and he was pretty easy to use. But now it's a little bit more technical, and I'm just not that good at it. But yeah, he is still creepy. By far, he's by all means creepy. Have you ever gotten into Tekken games? I did when the PlayStation 1 came out, and that was a long time ago. But Tekken was awesome back in the day, but I don't really know about now. I haven't really played any updated Tekken games, any modern Tekken games. I played the Tekken games of the first generation. Well, not the first generation, but the PlayStation 1 era, whatever. I played it when PlayStation 1 came out. That was the first time I played Tekken. And from there, that was the only time I've ever played it. After that, it's either been Tekken or Dead or Alive, just before the PlayStation 2 came out. But yeah, you know, I really haven't played it that much. It's not a bad game. It's pretty cool, but there's better games out there now. I'm just saying. What horror games have you ever played? I played Resident Evil. I played Eternal Darkness before. And BioShock. I guess you could probably say that BioShock is a survival horror game. Yeah, I would say BioShock, yeah. All three BioShocks. So those are the games I played. I played Resident Evil, the original one. Resident Evil 2. I have played Resident Evil 2. I have played, what did I say? Eternal Darkness. And I've also played all three BioShocks. So those are the games I've actually played. Can you show all your digital games on camera? I don't really have a lot of digital games on my phone. I don't have much. I just have like the usual. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it if I actually do show it to you, but I'll do my best. I mean, see it here, I got like Candy Crush. I know you probably can't read it, but I mean, I got Candy Crush, I got Flappy Bird, and I think those are all the games that I have because I don't really play. Oh, I have Sonic Dash. Yeah, I have Sonic Dash, for those that could actually see it. I have Sonic Dash, I have Temple Run, and I also have Tetris Blitz. I'm not that good at Temple Run. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's not a horrible game. It actually is pretty cool to play. But yeah, those are the only games that I pretty much have. But moving on from there to Brony Loney, and you will be my last person for this Q&A. If a wrestling fan from today watches WrestleMania 1, how boring would he or she think the show is? They would think it's pretty boring. See, from my era, I was around in the 80s. For those that are actually my age who have been around during the golden era, you would love it because it's the first time it came out. It's the first time it happened. The first thing I mean, this is literally the first WrestleMania ever. So for those that have not seen it, or those that, you know, have never really experienced it, it's going to be a great moment to see because that's history. Not only that being, well, not only so much being history, but it's something completely fresh and new. But for those that actually are starting now, like whether you're a millennial or whether or not you're a 90s kid, doesn't matter. But if you go back and actually watch the old footage, you're going to be bored because it's not going to be the over-the-top spectacle that you see now that WrestleMania is. It actually started off as just being something, a whole new idea. But what made it great was not only the performers, but also the feuds building up to it. The feuds had a lot more meaning behind it than it does now. Feuds are not so much like storylines. The feuds you just felt between two individuals that didn't like each other that kind of played out as a storyline in the ring. But the people themselves is what made the show great. And not to mention you had a few celebrities here and there, but it wasn't as over the top as it is now. Because you have not only celebrities, but you also have really big storylines that are dragged out for many months. But at this time, you had feuds that went on for years. You had build-ups to this moment. and kayfabe was huge back then. So things were a lot different then than now. But if people people now watch it, like watch the show now, they're not gonna like it. It's gonna be bored because it's a whole different product than it is. It's a whole different product now than it was back then. I guess it's a better way of saying it without dragging it out too much. Excuse me. Do you think Cyndi Lauper should be inducted into the Hall of Fame someday? Yes! Yes! By far, yes! If it wasn't for her and Captain Lou Albano, there would never be a rock and roll connection. Seriously, she's the one that got celebrities into being a wrestling, into like the whole wrestling world in the first place. And it's not like the whole ridiculousness that is Drew Carey. I'm sorry. Drew Carey should not be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm not getting into that anymore. I think I've already done a rant on that. But she actually did merge not only MTV but WWF and made it into the mainstream juggernaut it is today. If it wasn't for that, the celebrities would not even be involved at all in wrestling. They wouldn't even know what it was. And in my opinion, it was her, it was a relationship that she had, or the friendship she had with her, with Cyndi Lauper and Captain Lou. So definitely she should be in the Hall of Fame. Not freaking Drew Carey, but Cyndi Lauper. And she should have been there a long time ago. That's just me. I'm just saying. Ever play any Resident Evil games? Yes, I have. I played 1 and 2. They weren't bad, but it had the same jump scares and I got bored. Have you ever seen Jason's fatality in MKX? I wouldn't be surprised if it's him dragging a chick. I don't know. The fact that Jason is actually in MKX really pisses me off in the first place. I'm fine with the Predator because the Predator is an alien. You can work with that. But frickin' Jason, I could care less what his fatality is. It already pisses me off that they keep putting these old school horror people in there. They already put Freddy Krueger in MK9. Then they had to put Jason Voorhees in MKX. Why? I could care less what his fatality is, to be honest with you. Did you get it, and which characters did you download? I haven't gotten it yet because I still have a 360, so I have to wait till June 2nd, June 6th, or I think I have to wait until June 6th to actually get that copy. But I really haven't gotten it yet, but if I do, I don't know. I'm not particularly sure. More than likely, I'm probably going to get Tremor and the Predator. I don't really care much for Tanya. And I definitely don't care for Jason Voorhees. So I'm probably going to get the Predator, and I'm also going to get Tremor. Because Tremor was he was a character that's been rumored for many, many years. I would love to play with him and see what he's all about. But moving on from there. Do you watch WatchMojo videos on YouTube? Yes, I do. I watch them daily. I mean, I love countdown shows. And WatchMojo has really great and very interesting countdown shows. So I watch it pretty much all the time. They had, during WrestleMania season, the top 10 wrestling controversies. And I think I put it on my Wrestling Fan Nation page for those that really want to know. But it's awesome. I love it. It's unique. But the video game ones are always the ones that interest me the most. And your last question for me is, what if they made a game for your girl? She's not my girl. Maria Menounos. I would not buy it. I would not buy it. And I think you know that. I really think you know that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for sending me questions. And by all means, if you have other questions that you want to send them to me via YouTube or on Twitter at RKH30 hashtag NatureGirlQ&A. It's NatureGirl30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.